Have you ever wondered why people are moving to Portland, Oregon? Well, stay tuned and we're going to get into it for you. But stay to the very end and we're going to get to the top reason people hate living here.
Stick around to the end and make sure that all of the good is enough to offset this one downside.
Here we go. I'm Aaron Cullen. I'm a local real estate agent. And if you have any questions like, hey, what's the best school district to move to? Reach out, give me a call. My information's right down there. All right, should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Okay, so I think it helps to just give a little context. We moved here about 3 years ago, and we've also lived in Los Angeles for many, many years. I've also lived in San Francisco. We've both lived in Phoenix. I've lived in Orange County. So, along the West Coast, we've hit on a lot of cities. I think that just helps give a little context. We know why we moved here and why we're helping so many clients from other cities move here. And that sort of gives you a sense of what we're comparing it to. I'm really out of breath. Don't move here if you don't like hills.
So we're here walking the neighborhoods of Lake Oswego. We live in the Palisades, and now we've crossed over into West Ridge neighborhood. All right, where should we get into first?
I mean, let's just hit on the biggest, most obvious one, I think.
Right, the cost of living. If you're moving from a bigger city like Seattle, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, this is a great option for you to get out of that city pace, come to somewhere where it's a little bit more intentional, slower living, great communities, and yes, more affordable housing prices for what you can get compared to those cities. Now, I know that's all relative, but if you're coming from one of those cities, chances are this is going to be a lot better bang for your buck for housing. And there's so many awesome options. That is the number one reason people are moving to Portland, Oregon, is for the better housing opportunities and what you get.
And like Aaron said, it's all relative. So we're definitely going to get some kickback for saying move to Portland, it's affordable. For a lot of people feel like, it's getting less and less affordable. But again, when you compare it to the Bay Area or the Los Angeles area, we just had some friends who bought a house in Northeast Portland, and they're moving here from Central California, but they were really looking at buying a place in Pasadena, I think. And for their, family with 3 kids, what they could afford in Pasadena was tiny kids sharing a room, no space for a home office. And here they're able to get something where, they have more space, they can work from home, they can spread out a little bit. And that's just a perfect example of the value. So your money goes further, you're gonna get more space, you're gonna get a bigger house, probably a bigger yard, and that maybe wouldn't be enough if you didn't add on all of the other amenities and wonderful things about living here, which we're gonna get into.
That's right. Yeah, I concur with that 100%. I have so many stories of my own friends and clients that have moved here and they've gone through the same exact experiences. So one of the next top reasons that people are moving to Portland are the great public school options here as well. I mean, there are a lot of great public school options and a lot of great neighborhoods to go with that. One being right here in Lake Oswego. And this is the top rated school district in Oregon, in the state. And right next to us, you also have West Linn, Wilsonville School District, again, right there in the top in the state and even ranking nationally. And then right over to the west of us, you have Sherwood, you also have Happy Valley, and there are several others as well. Just a lot of top school districts to choose from. And depending on where you want to live, there's a lot of options there for you as well. So again, reach out to me if you want more details on that, and I can provide that to you.
I just have a little side note about schools that I just thought of, which is that I have, friends that live in Marin County, San Francisco, or in Los Angeles, and as their kids were just going into preschool, they were going through this grueling application process to make sure that their kids are getting, opportunities based on the preschool that they're enrolled in. And I think for a lot of people that just seems so stressful and so unnecessary, and me included. And I'm so grateful that, yes, like there may be a wait list for childcare or a preschool here, but it's really not about this grueling process where it's a part-time job on behalf of the parents to get their kids enrolled in the right school. You're gonna find great options, and in addition to that, it just sort of speaks to the slightly more laid back environment here, I think, that's not the experience that you're gonna have trying to get your kids into a good school.
That's right. And if your kids are not in the kindergarten age yet, if they're in that preschool type of age, there's a lot of great options here. And we personally send our daughter, and will be our son soon, to a French immersion school. So there's a lot of great options there with teachers that really believe in the value of education and quality playtime and all those things.
Yeah, I have a little funny story about that, which maybe we can save this for a school video, but I'll put it here as well, which is I'm on the student parent council of our daughter's school, and we were just meeting with a minister from the French education, or an inspector from the French education ministry, to talk about the school. And one of the fathers who's on the council said he had moved here from New York, and he was asking a lot of questions because his friends were asking, yeah, but how does your school fare on standardized tests, and are your kids learning, X and Y? And the director of the school, who is a really wonderful person who's also on the city council here in Lake Oswego, was able to speak up and say how well the kids were doing on testing, and how rigorous the education that they're receiving actually is. It's just that you don't notice it because they're having so much fun and they're playing. And again, it speaks to that. It's not that like competitive resume building experience that I think people have in some of the bigger cities when it comes to kids in school.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Hey guys, this is not good for us later, but check this out. This guy fell asleep. We're gonna be paying for this later when it comes to nap time.
You didn't tell me.
I just noticed. Oh, poor guy. We're in trouble.
Are you gonna watch him during nap time?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Papa, but that's gonna be on you.
Our nanny is out this week, so we're gonna be in big trouble when it comes to nap time.
Papa really wanted to get this video filmed, so you're gonna pay for it.
So let me expand a little bit on the town of Sherwood. That is one of the top 3 school districts in Oregon. And it's a smaller city, smaller town. And I mean, it's a really cool area. You're further out, you're right on the edge of the country. So if you like that more country feeling, but it's still a suburb, so you have that suburb living, nice streets, people take care of their houses, their lawns, great schools. If you like all that, but you want to be further from Portland, it's about, depending on traffic, about maybe more of like a 30-minute, 40-minute drive to downtown. And that could be a great option for you. And that price range is more the 500 to high 700s, and you can get a great 3.2 or up to 5, 3.5 size house in that price range. So if that's something you're interested in, Sherwood could be a great option for you, as Lake Oswego is going to be the most expensive neighborhood for you, but also the top rated schools. You also have a little bit further out from Lake Oswego, but closer than Sherwood, is West Lynn. So West Lynn is also a great option. That's a little more affordable than Lake Oswego for price point for what you get. And then you also have Wilsonville, which shares the school district with West Lynn. And they're doing a lot of new construction, but they're gonna be smaller lots for the most part. So if that's something that you're interested in, check those out.
One thing to add to Aaron's comments on some more rural communities, suburban, city, is that you can really choose what flavor suits you best. So in Portland, there are some great pockets where it's high density, it's very walkable, it's coffee shops, restaurants, and parks for kids and family friendly. Or out where we are, we're right on the edge of Lake Oswego, which is its own town, but then rolling farmland and vineyards. And then when you get out into West Lynn, Wilsonville, Sherwood, it's even more country-like. And I think when you're living in a bigger city on the West Coast, like San Francisco or LA, it can be really hard to get out to nature quickly or get that feeling of just a slower pace of lifestyle. When we were in LA, we lived right in the city, we lived in West Hollywood, and then eventually we ended up moving out to Topanga Canyon, which is really where you have to go if you want to have more access to hiking. I could get to Runyon Canyon from our house in West Hollywood, and that hiking is where it's like a highway of hiking. There's so many people, versus when we moved out to Topanga Canyon and you actually get some nature and some space. But in Portland, you can just get to that so quickly.
Yeah, that's right. You might not see famous people here like you would in Runyon Canyon. I could count, I've probably seen a dozen famous people on that hike. But here, the natural beauty is way more amazing, and you're gonna have more of that just hearing nature and not seeing that many people. And if you want to be closer to downtown, there's also some great options there. So go ahead and reach out and I can fill you in on those. And just to expand on that a little bit, one of the bonuses that you get once you move here into your neighborhood is you quickly realize that people here are very friendly and very interested in getting to know you and meet you. And if you have little kids, when you go to the park, people are going to want to get your phone number. I was just talking to a client yesterday that's moved here. We've been here about 2 months now, and she's already meeting so many people at the parks that are coming up to her and asking for their number or do a play date, and they just moved to West Lynn. So it's very, very family oriented, especially in a lot of these towns in the Portland metro area.
Yeah, I would add to that so many people have actually moved here in the last 5 and 10 years that a lot of your neighbors are also going to be recent transplants to Oregon, and so people are very open to building community. On our cul-de-sac, we have a group text, and when something's happening, when there's a big storm or there's a holiday, everyone's checking in on each other and making sure that everyone has what they need, and just sharing there are deer running up the cul-de-sac or whatever's going on. There's a real openness to connection that we really appreciate.
Yeah, and certain holidays or times of the year, our block will get together and do a barbecue a couple times a year, and little things like that, which are really cool. And we love that kind of thing of building community through things like that.
Another thing that I think appeals to a lot of people about Portland and the Pacific Northwest is the natural beauty and the real ability to be out in nature. I think more and more people are starting to value time out in nature, and especially in Portland, things that to me feel so wholesome and so family friendly, like going berry picking in the summertime. We stumbled upon a blackberry patch on a hiking trail walking distance from our house the first summer we were here. And
yeah, just right down this street right here.
We were just amazed. So during the end of July and August, every park we go to, every trail, our daughter's face is just covered in blackberries because there are bushes where she can pick berries. And then, the pumpkin patches in the fall and Christmas tree farms in the winter. There's just this feeling of getting out in nature, community gardens. And then just outside the city, but pretty easy to get to, are the Oregon coast, which is absolutely beautiful. And then
beautiful. We love the coast.
We love going to the beach.
Yeah, we go there. We'll rent an Airbnb for a week at a time, once or twice during the summer, and just let the kids get out there and run around.
It's like no beach that we've ever been to. There's so much open space and tide pools for the kids to run through, and it can feel like you're the only people out there for miles and miles. You just have so much space.
Yeah, Cannon Beach and then Manzanita Beach. Go check those out.
And then you can also get to the mountains, so Mount Hood for skiing or winter sports. And then near Mount Hood is called the Fruit Loop, where you can go apple picking, and there's all the fruit orchards that you can visit with the kids as well.
Yeah, we did some of that last year, and you can check that out right here. Kids, Juliet loved that, and we went with one of our neighbors that we met on our daily walks.
Oh, and then the adult version of that would be wine country, which is also, right near here. There are some great wineries in West Lynn, in Lake Oswego, and then a little further out in Yamhill County and that area. Really amazing Pinot Noirs and beautiful wine country.
Yeah. So if you're moving from California and you love going to Napa, Sonoma, like I did, don't worry. We've got our own version here in the Willamette Valley, and the wines are amazing. We've got some really good wines here. And again, they are known for their Pinots, and we've been really surprised by their wines. I mean, they're award-winning, some really, really good wines.
And I think going along with that, something I've been thinking about is that Portland's not like a commuter city where you work in the city and then you live out in suburbs, but you don't really know anyone around you. Portland is made up of a lot of really vibrant neighborhoods and suburbs that are more like a small town. And so the people right in your community, and like Erin said, you have what you need right around you. You don't have to cross town to get to something that you really love or to see friends. You have what you need right in your own community. It just makes it feel so homey and wholesome, and being able to, we were at swimming lessons with the kids yesterday and we're running into other kids from school. And in big cities, it's hard to find that feeling.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've been here for 3 years and we're already running into people all the time when we're out and about.
So I think one of the biggest perks about living here is the combination of big city amenities and small town experience. And so many things fall into that. So it's the ease of being able to get around anywhere in the city is, even for us out in the suburbs, it's 20-25 minutes to get downtown or to museums. But you also do have the benefits of the big city, like great healthcare, museums, international airport that's very easy to use. So you really get the best of both in a city of this size. Help.
He's got to help. Yeah, I would concur with all those things. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about Portland. It's kind of this big little city, right? Or it was a little big city. I mean, just having a great, amazing airport, international airport for business travel, getting around the world is awesome. I mean, that would be a deal breaker for me. And the fact that one of the biggest things that I love about living in Portland is it doesn't take a long time to drive around. Now, a lot of the locals that have grown up here for the last 30, 40 years will say the traffic here is atrocious. And you know what? The traffic's gotten a lot worse in a lot of cities, and good-sized cities, but compared to where we were coming from in California, the traffic here is not bad at all. Especially, every town really has everything you need for a daily basis. So nothing's more than 10-15 minute drive of just getting around. Bubba down there.
And I think I can't overstate that enough for families with young kids. Living in a big city where seeing a friend takes an hour or more, going to a doctor's appointment takes forever to get there. There's just nothing compares with being able to cruise around, do school pickup, go to swimming lessons, go take the kids to the pediatrician, all in 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, all of that in whichever community you decide on is going to have those kind of amenities within a 10-15 minute drive, which is really big when you have kids, especially little kids that might not like driving for very long or sitting in traffic. And here's one of the really cool things about Lake Oswego and some of these other cities. Here's an extra parking space that this neighbor uses for his boat. Having that extra boat parking at your house, so you save a little bit right there on boat storage. If that's something you're interested in, or RV parking. A lot of the lots here will have RV parking. So if that's something you're looking for, you can definitely find that as well. Here's one of the hills right now. Lake Oswego has a lot of hills. This is one of them. And it's our driveway. All right, I mean, look at these trees. It's gorgeous out here. It's one of my favorite things I love about living in Portland are these huge growth pine trees. Just amazing.
We moved here 3 years ago, so it was pre-COVID, and I have been so grateful to have this space that we've had. And I think a lot of people's lifestyles have really changed in the last couple of years with the way they want to be able to spend time at home and in their neighborhood. And so I think more and more people are thinking about Portland because of all the things we've talked about, like having a bigger home, a bigger yard, beautiful neighborhoods to walk in, and parks that you have easy access to.
Yeah, I would definitely concur to that. To me, it feels obvious now at this point, but I often have to remind myself that if you're not familiar with Portland, you don't realize a lot of these things and all the amenities. So that's one of the reasons why we make this video and these videos, is to really show you what it's like on the streets in these neighborhoods, to see if that's somewhere that resonates with you and the kind of lifestyle that you're looking for. And if it is, reach out and give me a call. I'd love to set up a Zoom call with you for like 30 minutes. I also have my link right down there. You can, with a calendar, you can go ahead and book yourself something that works for you, and we can just explore and talk about it. I can share some more information with you.
Yeah, because I think we can walk through these neighborhoods and talk about it, but the best thing is for you to come visit and for Aaron to, take you around for a day and see houses and see neighborhoods.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I do. I love it. I love going through these neighborhoods. And I mean, every day I love living here, especially when we get these days like this. I mean, it's gorgeous outside. And here's the thing, we're saving to the end. It does rain a lot here. And this spring, we usually have a lot of sunshine and warmer days, but this spring so far has been very irregular. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of clouds. So we are ready for summer. And not just us, I mean, everybody you talk to and online are like, I'm so over this.
It has been so cold and wet this spring, and I'm definitely over it. But I will say that having 4 seasons has been so fun, and it feels very festive. We've had snow a couple of times. Just this morning, our daughter said that she decided that the only weather she likes is sun and snow, because we've had such a rainy spring. But everything is blooming. I don't know if it's coming through in the video, but it is so green and lush. There are flowers everywhere. And the reason why summers in the Pacific Northwest are more beautiful than anywhere else is because we deal with all that rain.
Rain, yes. So you gotta have the rain to have the gorgeous trees and flowers.
Our 4-year-old also said the other day they've been gardening at school and planting things, and when she found out it was raining, she did say, well, that's good for my flowers.
Yeah. So she is learning the benefits of rain. So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of rain if you move here. That is one of the downsides. But again, the plus to that is you get all this. So we love it here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, I'm a local real estate agent, and I'd love to connect with you guys. If you're moving or relocating, give us a call. Bye.